I was craving for a milk tea and I asked my wife to order but it was too late in the evening. And alam nyo naman, sarado na dahil sa curfew. But the lesson that I would like to share to you, na baka naranasan mo na rin to at syempre baka may aral kang mapulot sa mga susunod na sasabihin ko. When the order arrived, syempre, atat, diretso inom, and while we're talking, and I noticed na parang iba ang lasa yata ng iniinom ko. And my wife said that, oh no, mali pala napindot ko sa online menu nila. And of course, naturally, how will you react to this situation? Maaring simple at parang wala lang, but usually, at pustahan pa tayo, argument na yan, and magsisisihan pa na ang katotohanan, wala ka naman talagang magagawa dahil in the first place, kasalanan naman natin. But the usual reaction that we do in this type of scenario and the way we handle the situation ay ang teaching na pag-uusapan natin right after the short intro. So paano? Let's go! Welcome back! Kumusta po kayo at mga magigiting kong kababayan naway nasa maayos naman ang mga kalagayan nyo and despite of adversity and mga challenges na mga pinagdadaanan natin patuloy pa rin sana ang magaganda at tapat na gawain para lang din maging peaceful and comfortable ang inyong pamumuhay. I'm your teacher for today and my name is Jet and I would like to welcome all of you sa channel na kung saan lahat po tayo ay willing matuto about life and overall well-being na hindi naman lahat po ito ay naiintindihan and instead binabaliwala lang. Let's start. Ang topic na pag-uusapan natin today is about blame or blaming. Yes, yun bang alam mo namang walang dapat talagang sisihin sa sitwasyon mo but mistakenly, mas karamihan yata ay gustong-gusto ang mag-blame ng iba at hahanap pa ng bagay man, oras, tao, sitwasyon, and worse, may mga taong hindi na makausad-usad sa pag-blame ng kanilang past and their lack of knowledge and wisdom at bakit ba sakit na nating mga tao ang maghanap ng kung sinong sisisihin sa mga bagay na di magagandang nangyayari or nangyari na sa buhay natin. Pero kapag tumatamasa ng magandang buhay, syempre ang lagi mo namang pinipraise ang sarili, self-proclaiming ka na, and that's selfishness and pride. People just love to blame others instead of owning your mess and fix it. Alam mo bang in psychology, makinig ka, blame is the act of censoring, holding responsible, making negative statements about an individual or group that their actions or inactions are socially or morally irresponsible at ito ay opposite of praise. Bakit nga ba mahilig tayo mag-blame ng iba lalo na pag may nangyayaring di maganda sa atin? When something happens which makes us feel otherwise, we may feel the urge to blame others to maintain that perception of our goodness para lang makatakas na usually ikaw naman talaga ang may problema at may gawa. It may also be a form of social comparison to make ourselves feel like the good person as opposed to how bad others. Kaya palagi mong nakikita ang kamalian ng iba pero sarili mong uling sa mata kahit na sa salamin, di mo makita-kita. And let me read you a verse from the Hebrew Bible that the Creator Himself mentioned and sakit na to ng mga tao. Read Matthew chapter 7 verse 3. And why do you look at the splinter in your brother's eye, but not notice the plank in your own eye? Familiar ba? Let me share to you the blaming game that we do to escape from the reality na tayo naman talaga usually ang may gawa. Here are 5 reasons we play the blame game. Number 1. Blame is an excellent defense mechanism whether you call it projection, denial, or displacement. Blame helps you preserve your sense of self-esteem by avoiding awareness of your own flaws or failings. Number 2. Blame is a tool we use when we are in attack mode. Falling into the category of destructive conflict resolution method, blame is a way to try to hurt our partners. And number 3, we're not very good at figuring out that the causes of other people's behavior or even our own. The attributions we make whether to luck or ability can be distorted by our tendency to make illogical judgments. And we're just as bad at making judgment involving the blameworthiness of actions in terms of intent versus outcome. And number 4, It's easier to blame someone else than to accept responsibility. There's less effort involved in recognizing your contributions to a bad situation than in accepting the fact that you're actually at fault.
Ikaw ang sumira ng buhay mo!
And changing so you don't do it again. And number 5, people lie. It's pretty easy just to lie and blame someone else even though you know you're at fault. You may figure that no one will know it was really you who spilled coffee all over the break room. So you just blame someone else who's not there, and I hope that person never finds out. At ano nga ba ang mga bagay na hilig nating i-blame? Para lang mas maintindihan mo na baka ikaw na pala to at hindi ka lang aware na akala mo okay lang ang lahat. We blame people. We blame society, situations, and sikat na sikat ang pag-blame ng past. Kaya napakaraming hindi makamove on na kahit na mga patay na, biniblame mo pa rin. Blaming your relatives, blaming small things like pagkagawa ng mga gamit mo na mumurahin galing sa ibang bansa, blaming your spouse sa luto at damit na mabaho na hindi nagamitan ng fabric softener, and so on and so forth. In most cases, the easiest way to avoid that pain is to externalize it, to project the discomfort, anger, or pain onto another person or situation. For many people, externalizing is so instinctive that it becomes standard operating procedure na. Then, miss our own role in the negative situation and fail to take ownership of it. And the truth of the matter is we just love to blame and wash our hands and finding escape route to get out of the burden. Kaya hilig na hilig mo ang mag-blame. Siyempre, tanong nyo naman, papaano nga ba namin matututunan ang wag mag-blame ng iba or bagay? Alam nyo, if you will only learn that I have been practicing for years, magbabago ang outlook and perspective mo in life. I replace blaming with understanding. Externalizing in any given situation depends on inaccurate understanding of responsibility. But before I further discuss to you this particular topic, please consider subscribing kung meron po kayong natutunan sa channel na to, and your likes are always greatly appreciated. Huwag nyo na rin kalimutan pong i-click ang bell icon for updates para mas marami na rin po itong ma-reach out ng mga kababayan natin sa kahit na maliit na paraan makapagbahagi po tayo ng turo ng channel na to, lalong-lalo na at higit na sa mga nangangailang. Maaaring hindi sa'yo pero sa kaibigan mo, kamag-anak mo, or even strangers na gusto mo lang din tulungan. Now let's continue. When we blame someone else, we attribute more responsibility to them than they actually have. When we internalize the blame, we attribute more responsibilities to ourselves than we actually should. When we correctly apportion responsibility between ourselves and the other party, then we achieve true accountability. And when we can practice owning our mess, and mas lalo mo lang pinapalakas ang inner self mo by doing this realization. To do that, we have to replace the impulse to blame with the commitment to understand. Only by choosing to understand an accurate view of all of the factors at play in a negative situation. Ito yung mga bagay na pwede mong alamin at itanong sa sarili to get a handle on how responsibility for a situation shakes out. Number 1. What specifically is the negative situation taking place? How is it showing up in this moment? Number 2, how did we arrive at this situation? What events, decisions, or factors led to this moment before ka palang mag-blame ng iba? Number 3, who else is involved in the situation? What are their roles and responsibilities? What is my role or role mo and responsibility in that particular situation? Number 4, which external factors, not under anybody's direct control, played a role in the situation? For example, weather, office policy, tangential conflicts, rough days, loss, and etc. Number 5, what question can I ask of myself and other party to better understand the situation? What do I need to know to correctly understand who's accountable here? What do I not know about this situation? And number 6, how did all of these factors, events, decisions or non-decisions, personalities, conflicts, environments, etc. interact to lead to the negative situation at hand? Ito yung mga bagay na pwede mong i-practice and think 10 times before you put yourself in a situation na wala ka naman ibang alam na gawin. is to blame people at kahit na mga bagay-bagay sa paligid mo, and that is so stressful and you're putting yourself at risk kasama ng health mo and even physically. There is no benefits in blaming game, and 99% of the time you will eventually lose in playing the blaming game that usually many don't realize this. Naway na pagkapulutan niyo po ng aral at importante sa lahat, ito'y maisabuhay ninyo para naman gumaan-gaan ang pamumuhay niyo po. Or kahit na sabihin mong hindi ka ganito, is something that you can learn from. And like I said from the start pa lang po ang main purpose ng channel na to is makapagbigay sa inyo ng wisdom ng mga bagay na kailangan nating mga tao o lalo tayo mga Pilipino na matutunan dahil hindi po tayo accustomed sa ganitong mindset. Kung meron man po kayo mga katanungan, counseling, self-development method or training, financial man yan, love, relationship in general, and anything that could uplift you or matulungan man lang kita, you can directly message me or lagay nyo lang po dyan sa comment section below para masagot ko rin. Thank you so much po talaga at maraming salamat sa pagsama na naman sa akin sa usaping buhay. Na obvious naman maraming tao ang hindi ito naiintindihan at ang mamuhay sa mundong ito na nakalimutan na yata natin that we are made in the likeness of Him. I will see you again sa part 2 teaching ng napakamasalimuot na topic na The Blaming Game. May this channel be a blessing to you and to your family, and iiwan ko po muna kayo sa katagang your past is always a good place to visit. Just to motivate yourself, but not a good place to stay. And always remember that. Shalom.